Hi guys, this is DY coming from the Office of Admissions and Public Relations. Why am I here? I'm actually here to help you. I know a lot of you guys are slacking at home, don't know what to do with your body. I already know. So, I'm here to make you come out of your chair or comfort zone basically and, kind of come along with me to the world of exercise, okay? All right, so before we dive into our exercises, I need to lay out a couple of principles you are going to abide by, okay?
There are principles?
Yeah, always principles, okay? Always principles. And you will be exercising by these rules, okay? But for the sake of clear communication, I'll be taking off this mask, okay? First principle, you need to do at least 2 to 3 times a full body exercise a week. Second, each muscle group will have 2 to 3 different exercises, okay? You definitely need to work your muscle group to grow. Number 3, each exercise will have 2 to 3 different sets. Each set will have 8 to 15 different reps, okay?
So 8 to 15, that's a lot.
I mean, it sounds a lot, but you get used to it, and some people might be able to handle over 18. Numbers may vary, depending on person who is actually working on each exercise. Each exercise you will be working on, you need to work your muscle to the point of failure.
Failure?
To the failure. Failure meaning you won't be able to another set, okay? So the repetitions that I set here may vary, like I said, depending on the person who is working on it. So I'm not gonna set specific number of repetition for each set for you. However, you're going to set those numbers for your own sake, but the standard will be basically to the point of failure. Got it?
Okay, I can try.
Yes, you can do it. Every great things, start with the small steps, okay? So I'll carry you through these 5 different weeks and make sure you stay active through this crisis called the coronavirus crisis. I know this is a very good old-fashioned stuff, but I'll be jumping here, all right? All right, so awkward, but bear with me. All right, so where's my friends? Where's my buddies? All right, so please introduce yourself,
Hello,
Go ahead.
Guys, I'm from Student Services team. My name is Han Hyun-an. I'm a step member of RC team. Hello, guys.
All right, welcome. What about you?
Hey guys, you guys have probably seen me before. My name is Nicole. I'm also part of Student Affairs and Career team.
So what are we doing here?
Are we gonna
To
exercise?
work out.
I know, but have you worked out before?
Never.
Never. Okay. What about you, Nicole?
I work out daily. Yeah.
You work out daily.
Yeah.
You look like you're working out daily.
Hey.
All right. So I think we have a really good combination here. No exercise and frequent exercisers. So we'll kind of test different workouts and kind of strike the right balance hopefully. And you both female male, it doesn't really matter. You both can handle those exercises hopefully. So this is warm up time. We're gonna slowly warm up our upper body first. So we're gonna work on ours through the chest, okay? Let's start with our left side. Okay, just like this, and push it towards your torso, all right? Just like I do. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And the other side. And nice and easy.
Come on guys, let's all come together.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And secondly, we're gonna do overhead, just like I do here. All right, push your elbow down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, I think that's good enough. All right, so we're gonna warm up our legs. Okay, so first of all, fold your upper body towards your legs, okay? Just like this, okay? We're gonna stay right there for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, we're gonna do it one more time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You feel that? You feel that?
Yeah.
All right. So next, we're gonna twist our waist. Split your legs just like this, and then you're gonna slowly twist it just like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. You know, I don't feel like moving right now. All right. And this time, we're going to sit down. Oh, maybe a lot of guys will hate this exercise. I do too. But split just like this. And we're going to reach the tip of each foot, okay? And we're going to stay there for 5 seconds. Let's start with left side, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, I think we're good. Okay, let's stand up. All right, so the exercises I'll be introducing to you today, you'll be working maximum 15 reps for each exercise. We're going to cover 5 different exercises today. Some are full body exercise, some are isolated or somewhat focused on a particular part of your body. This is first session, so I'll be testing the water and see and collect your feedback and then kind of work on our next sessions. So today we're going to work on, first of all, jumping jacks, second squat, and third push-up, and fourth Bulgarian split squat, and lastly regular crunches. So 5 exercises, very easy and basic exercises, but once you get used to it, you will get better and you can handle many more reps and sets. Okay, so this is first time doing it, so slowly follow me. All right, jumping jacks, follow me. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. That's good enough. All right, although we are doing only 15, so you're going to keep on working on, all right? When you work on your push-ups, a lot of guys actually think that you're just moving your torso up and down, But the science behind it is basically making sure you're making an arch in the back, just like this, and then use your chest rather than your arms or shoulders, okay? A lot of guys are mixed up in this logic. They try to use their shoulder too much or arm too much, okay? But you need to remember, you're working on your chest. So, when you work on your chest, you'll be wondering, where should I place my palms, okay? Depending on where you put your hand, you may work on different part of your pec, okay? But I'm going to only explain about regular push-ups, okay? Here, I want you to place it right under your palms, right under your shoulders, just like this. And then place your feet somewhere in between your, uncomfortable zone. This is like uncomfortable enough. And then I'm going to slowly come down, but I'm not gonna bend my wrist just like that. I'll be using my chest, okay? Like I said, you need to make a good arch in the back. Just like this, and coming up. And I'm using my chest, all right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Squat. Many of you guys already done it, know how to do it. Yes, so I won't be explaining too much, but just remember this. When you do squat, you need to have enough width between your leg, okay? A lot of guys are trying to do, narrow standing, but I'll recommend a little bit wider and a little bit wider than your shoulder width, okay? And place it, make sure your tip of your foot facing kind of outer angle, okay? And just like this, and I'm gonna go down slowly and make sure I maintain the tensions on my glute and quad and hamstring and everywhere, okay? And make sure you have, you keep your kind of core straightened up, okay? All right, we're gonna try 15 reps, okay? Here, go. 1. My hands are kind of awkward, so make sure I do this frog squat, okay? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm pretty sure you guys have something, at your home. And it could be chair or desk or bed, it doesn't really matter, as long as you can place your leg just like that, just like this. All right, so I'll be working on each leg separately and making sure I press enough pressure onto it, okay? Here, just like this. And I'll be focusing on my left side first, okay? And each side, 15 reps. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? Yeah. Switch aside. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So our next exercise is our abdominal crunch. Okay. Although it's about 5 months away, the beautiful summer is waiting for us. So guys, you need to get ready. Girl, ladies, you also need to have some nicely, made lean abs. So I'll be showing very simple regular crunch. So you're gonna sit down first. Okay. All the way. And make sure you have some tension on your abs. Okay? And then you're gonna, your hands, place it somewhere, behind your head. And then you're gonna slowly crunch up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So really basic, very easy, but you only need to remember, you only need to maintain the tensions on your abs, okay? And work out each rep with tensions, maintained. Okay guys, so hope you enjoyed it. This was our first session. We did not know what to provide first, so we kind of tested the water through this first session. But we be looking forward to getting some feedback from you guys. So about that, Nicole has some announcement here.
So to get more feedbacks from you, we will be doing a little giveaway of whey protein, which you will need if you want to be big like him.
Yep.
So basically, what you need to do is to shoot your own video of you working on the same exercise that we did today. Remember, you have to do 3 reps at each exercise. And you can send the videos to us at rc@sunykorea.ac.kr.
Can I submit too?
No.
Oh my God. All right. So I'll be missed this big chance. By the way, guys, don't hesitate to actually try the exercises and get the reward. This is a perfect time for you to be active. You know, we're always there to help you and kind of go through this difficult time.
So see you guys next week.
See you next week.
And stay healthy.
Stay healthy. We all face difficult situations, so today I want to talk about self-care. These days, we need to take care of ourselves more than anything else. Dear SUNY Korea students, I'm telling you again, we need to take care of ourselves more than anything else. If not, we can't move forward one step further. This is one of the main reasons that I am telling you self-care. The situation you and I face today is different and difficult to control, and the virus is invisible. We must be very careful about what to do in our daily lives. So here's my point. Let's not complain anyway. Let us think differently and creatively. Maybe this situation gives us a chance to consider self-care more deeply. How about that? So, take time to reflect on yourself and try to see how your daily lives go. Generally, you get busy doing a lot of things. When you're so busy, you tend not to take care of yourself. Yes, you don't have to, since you are full of passion and energy. So, I understand that your age is your biggest weapon. In the early 20s, it's time to expand your limit. So no time to rest and pause. You better run fast and drive powerfully. In fact, the world you and I live requires us to do many things simultaneously. Multitasking is not an option, but a must-have. You know, all of a sudden, things changed. Completely changed. We face everything gets slow down. We are not familiar with this kind of slowness, but when you slow down and stop and pause, you are able to see something different, something that you haven't seen before. So take it in this way, our self-care. The virus situation tells us that self-care is crucial. And don't worry, things to-do list already have been given. For example, we are all guided by the government officials to stay at home. You have to take it in this way. I suggest that. When the government officials emphasize the social distancing campaign, we take it as our self-care. I'm telling you, things changed. I guess it's very difficult to go back to the world that we used to live before the pandemic situation, where ordinary everyday life can be enjoyed. We do not have medicine yet, and it will take a long time to develop effective and adequate measures. Until a new vaccine is found or an effective treatment is developed, the current situation will last longer. So what can we do? This unusual situation. I suggest your physical health is the starting point. You gotta be safe first. Then we can think of tomorrow. You know, Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, their guidelines. They have updated guidelines recently. I'm telling you, first, when you feel sick, stay at home at least 3 or 4 days. Keep the interpersonal distance, at least 2 meters. Disinfection once a week. Ventilation 2 times a day, morning and evening. Wash your hands for 30 seconds. And of course, cough with the arms. Keep the distance, but close to heart. Very luckily, SUNY Korea, they, do this, disinfection regularly. And you, when you're at home in dormitory rooms, you can do ventilation 2 times a day, morning and evening. At least we can do that. So please practice these kinds of guidelines as our self-care with all your mind and heart.
things changed. I'm telling you again. It's our starting point of self-care. It's very important to manage the pandemic situation from where you are to merely survive and to stay safe physically. We gotta do it. Let's actively participate and voluntarily practice so that you and I be safe. Again, stay safe and be strong.
Hi everyone, and welcome to today's discussion on the power of nutrition. It is a great honor and a privilege for me to be here with you all discussing such an important topic. My name is Miranda Rugova, and I am a SUNY Binghamton graduate. I studied the discipline of geography and specifically looked at urban and regional planning. The study of geography is something that I will talk about a lot in this discussion when I'm referring to nutrition. So I will not be drawing from a traditional nutritional background. I will instead be drawing from a geography background and educational perspective. In addition to this, I will talk a bit about my experiences on the ground for 2 years in Brooklyn, New York. During this time, I was working for New York City's Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, and I was working on a program called the Healthy Schools Initiative. This program reshaped the way that I view communities and spaces and the relationship between the two and nutrition. So today I will argue that it is important for us to reshape our understanding of nutrition and view nutrition as a source of power to have strong and communities which can thrive from such a feeling of prosperity when it comes to health. So the discipline of geography looks at places, so that's the physical surfaces on Earth, in addition to human relationships with those environments. So when we look at the 21st century, we see that a lot of individuals are living for a very long time, yet in the same token, a lot of people are having lower quality of life, and they're also experiencing certain illnesses that were not so prevalent earlier on in the development of society. So I will talk about some of the reasons why these relationships exist and how our environments influence this. So when I was working with the Healthy Schools Initiative, I focused on building community, and I did so by introducing nutrition and talking about the importance of nutrition when it comes to youth who are in a developmental stage. A lot of times I struggled with school officials and school community members to get nutrition on the agenda, because a lot of these schools are looking at grades, they're looking at child's performances on state exams, and they don't necessarily have the time or the resources, in addition to the specialty, in order to look at the dimensions of the school's environment and how it influences students to be more healthy and in turn have better opportunities when it comes to their educational performance. We're going to begin by breaking down what nutrition is. Traditionally, nutrition is defined as the process of obtaining food necessary for good health and growth. I'd like to challenge this perception of nutrition and expand on it a little bit. So the way I would like to define nutrition is that nutrition is the process of eating food for the purpose of obtaining nutrition for the body to achieve the best performance as well as the longest possible time in good health. So right off the bat, one of the main differences between those two definitions is that my definition is looking at longevity and health more so as a regular practice that leads to optimal health and wellness, instead of viewing health as something that you achieve at a certain point, like you grow to a certain point and then that's it. You no longer have to question what you're eating, or you don't look at food as something that is constantly providing you with opportunities for growth. So there are 4 main topics that we will be going through. The first topic is the relationship between spaces and human behavior. When we look at human behavior, we will be addressing lifestyle choices in addition to our environment and how it influences our lifestyle choices. Secondly, we will talk about the importance of nutrition. Thirdly, we will be talking about the basics of nutrition, in addition to some very simple tips that you can utilize every day in order to make sure that you're meeting optimal nutrition standards for the day. And lastly, we will discuss nutrition as a source of power. And when I talk about power, I'm talking about reshaping our physical structures and gaining power through benefiting in what you're getting from your physical environment, in addition to power in a sense of health and wellness and feeling good enough on a regular basis in order to be able to take on life and all of its challenges and be able to grow and prosper. So for the first topic, when we're discussing the relationship between spaces and human behavior, I like to break down the structures of the environment and how they influence us from a top-down kind of approach. So to start off, there's you, right? You and your environment. And then over that is your interpersonal relationships. Now, this is relationships with family, friends, community members, and those relationships play an important role when it comes to nutrition and the information that you receive on nutrition, what your taste palette is like, and oftentimes these traditions that you form on an interpersonal level play a large role in why a lot of us hold nutrition so near and dear to us. So above the interpersonal level, there's the physical structures that surround us. And this includes bus stops and restaurants and places of business, green spaces. All these structures play an important role in nutrition because they are linked a lot of times to the access that we have to being healthy. So a lot of times in urban development, there's a lot of lack in nutritional food. A lot of people here in Brooklyn, from what I saw, rely on what we call bodegas. And that's just a corner store that you have in your neighborhood that has a variety of snacks and beverages and hot and cold foods that you can pick up. And it's very convenient for people, and there's bodegas readily available in the space. So that's just an example of physical structures. And above the physical structures, we have the laws and policies. And the laws and policies are the third and final component of the environment. And it's definitely the most important because laws and policies influence what our physical structures look like. And so what this means is that certain regulations that are in place can either benefit communities or put them at risk for developing chronic illnesses, because what we see these days is that a lot of well-known businesses and corporations have their products readily available to a mass population. And so people tend to think that they have certain choice when they walk into, say, that bodega. But a lot of times what we recognize is that choice is very limited when it comes to food, because certain neighborhoods have access to healthier food and others tend to lack that. So the environment as a whole plays a very critical role in nutrition. If there's a lot of fast food restaurants in your environment, it can become very easy for you to develop a habit and a lifestyle where you tend to go to fast food restaurants, for example, and gravitate towards buying a lot of food that's very low in nutritional content. And what we're seeing is that there's a trend in a lot of youth in the US who are developing chronic illnesses because of these type of lifestyle habits. And so I would like for all of you to consider your environment when you think about nutrition and the role that it plays in your life. And I would like for you all to recognize that it's important to consider the environment and how certain corporations that have money are able to use that in order to shift our ideas of health and wellness and nutrition. So let's jump ahead to our second topic of discussion, which is, why is nutrition important? Now, I know you've heard this very many times, but I'll go ahead and say it again. Food is fuel, and food has the ability to influence our mood, influence our level of productivity and cognitive performance. Additionally, it has the power to influence how we perform on a day-to-day basis. So for that reason, it is important to consider nutrition from an early point in life so that you can form a habit of practicing healthy acts, such as cooking for yourself and understanding what should be on your plate in order for you to experience optimal health and wellness to get through your day-to-day life. And especially for college students, there's a lot of people who are very physically active. There's others who have more of a sedentary lifestyle and spend a lot of time on their computer and on their phone. And so, it's important to consider how nutrition can be utilized as a tool in order to help us live healthier, longer lives that are free of chronic illnesses. So there are two final points that I would like to highlight in terms of the importance of nutrition. And the first is that our perception of food plays a large role in what we eat. So a lot of times we'll find that people maybe don't eat broccoli there for a large part of their lives. And the reason why they do this is because maybe they had some bad experiences at a younger age and they just never reintroduced that vegetable into their life. And so they just managed to get by with eating other things that are not providing them the nutrients that they need to thrive. Secondly, I'd like to highlight that we should view nutrition and food in terms of preventing ourselves from experiencing chronic illnesses that can otherwise be prevented by taking these types of measures in our diet and lifestyle choices. So modern medicine tends to focus on treating chronic illnesses and providing certain medicines to help with treatment. But I think this is an outdated idea, and I think that it's way more necessary to view nutrition as a way of navigating through life and doing so in the best possible way in terms of your health. So instead of having to struggle with a chronic illness that can be prevented, we can make sure to instill certain healthy lifestyle habits at a younger age and avoid these things. So we're going to move on to the next component of this discussion, which is the basics of nutrition. And when I think about the basics of nutrition, I just think of what I put on my plate and what my plate looks like. So we do need to take a little bit of initiative when it comes to what we're putting on our plate. This begins at the supermarket, where we pick up certain ingredients, and then at home we also have to take certain steps in order to make sure that we're getting the best value out of these foods. So this includes storing foods in a certain manner and making sure that you're really getting a bang out of your buck. So when I think of my plate, I recognize that it's going to be very colorful. And the reason for this is that half of the plate should contain a mixture of fruits and vegetables. Now, these fruits and vegetables can be served either in a whole food manner, they can be served from a can, or they can be frozen. All three of those are great options. We just want to keep in mind that it's ideal to eat foods in their whole natural state, but we can also opt for healthy options when it comes to frozen and canned foods by simply looking at the nutrition fact label and being sure to pick items which are low in sodium and added sugars, which is something that we want to avoid for optimal health. So in addition to half of the plate being fruits and vegetables, we're going to have the other half of the plate be made up of 1/4 whole grains and 1/4 of a healthy protein. And voila, that's that. So when we talk about whole grains, there are a lot of very simple ways to incorporate them into your diet. Whole grains provide a great source of fiber, which helps with digestion and optimal body functioning. Fiber also is a great food to ensure that you're feeling full and making you have the energy to get your morning going, for example. So I like to recommend that you get a great amount of whole grain in your diet, and this can start early in the morning by having a bowl of oatmeal or whole grain cereal, which has 100% whole wheat as one of the top 3 ingredients. So you want to make sure to incorporate whole grains in your diet. And this can also appear in your lunches in terms of sources like brown rice, quinoa, and certain whole wheat pastas, for example, which are very easy to make and are very valuable to us when it comes to having an optimal diet. So as far as the other 1/4, which is a healthy protein, there are a lot of common ideas when it comes to protein, but I'm just going to provide you with a different view in terms of that, which maybe a lot of people feel uncomfortable with, but maybe a lot of you have also recognized that it's something that's had a lot of attention within maybe the last couple of years or decade. So that is that you can get your healthy protein from plant-based sources. This includes things like chickpeas, green peas, beans, edamame, and the importance of utilizing a plant-based protein is that it allows you to absorb nutrients that your body needs to thrive from the source. Whereas a lot of common ideas of what is on a healthy plate contains some sort of animal protein, which in addition to providing these nutrients also has a negative environmental impact, in addition to also leading you to have certain potential chronic illnesses later down the line in your life. So for that reason, it is I'd like you to think about how it's possible to totally omit the traditional beef burger and move to a different vegetable protein source and really challenge yourself to use food in a way that promotes well-being and has a positive impact on your environment. One last thing that I'd like to highlight about animal protein sources is that they use a lot of resources in order to create those foods. So from a urban planning perspective, it is important to consider how certain systems in our society interact with one another and what impacts they have on humans and our ability to experience a high quality of life. So because we live on a planet that has a finite number of resources, from a planning perspective, it is important to recognize that there are other methods when it comes to food production that are way more effective and in terms of growing them and the resources that they use, in addition to the impact that they have on human health and well-being. So I know that was a little bit of a mix of information, but I encourage you all to explore the things that I've talked about in greater depth on your own. And I encourage you to maybe attempt to have a meatless Monday or try out different foods that you haven't incorporated in the past in order to get yourself out of your comfort zone and increase your relationship with healthy practices when it comes to food. Additionally, I would like to highlight that our beverages play a key role in addition to what is on our plate. So a lot of times we tend to overlook what we are ingesting in terms of liquids. And especially in children, we recognize that there are a lot of beverages that they tend to enjoy, such as fruit juices and different energy drinks and sodas that have absolutely no nutritional value. And even though they are marketed in a way to kind of promote that they are healthy, a lot of times these things can be debunked. And so it's important to make sure that you're just staying away from added sugars that are unnecessary in your diet and that will most likely be present in a lot of beverage sources. So a tip there that I can throw your way is that fruit has natural sugars instead of added sugars, which is found in a lot of processed foods. So the benefit of incorporating a lot of fruit in your diet is that you can also use fruit in a creative way to experience drinks that are healthy for you and also provide that source of sweetness that you desire. So for example, you can add cucumbers and lemons to your water to make sure that you're not only enjoying your experience of drinking a lot of water, but to ensure that you're also drinking a lot of water or the amount of water that is necessary for a healthy diet. So the basics of nutrition can pretty much be found on your plate and in your cup. Having an idea of what's on your plate and in your cup helps to alleviate stress when it comes to eating and what is necessary when eating. If you keep the proportion sizes in mind, and if you keep a lot of variety in the foods that you eat, and make sure to incorporate a lot of different kinds of protein and carbohydrate sources, as well as fresh fruit and vegetable sources, then you're pretty much going to steer clear of any chronic illnesses or cancers, which can be prevented in depending on your state of wellness. So snacking works for some people and it doesn't work for others. In terms of college students, I'm sure many of you are active, and many of you probably like to snack on foods when you're working on projects and assignments. And so that's why it's important to keep snacks that are healthy in near reach so that you can be sure to satisfy that craving, but do so in a healthy way. And just because you're having a healthy snack doesn't mean that it has to be bland or boring. You can have different nut mixes, for example. You can have dried fruit. You can have fresh fruit. You can incorporate shakes if you like, and incorporate greens and fruits into your shakes if you have an abundance and you're looking to use it all within a short period of time if it's maybe potentially going bad. So there are a lot of different variations when it comes to snacks. And I hope that you all can utilize the internet to look for different types of recipes and videos that are out there and available to you all, because it's a great way to find inspiration. And food can seem like something that is very intense because, you know, you have to buy the food, you have to prepare it, you have to cook it. And so there's a lot of opportunity for failure, but there's also a lot of opportunity for success. So it's okay to make something for the first time and absolutely not enjoy it, but you can learn things along the way, and that's the fun in it all. It's the process and the journey of getting to a healthy state of being. And this is something that we should constantly strive for, and something that takes a lot of dedication and commitment. So the last point that I wanted to talk about in terms of today's discussion was viewing nutrition as power. Keeping a urban planning perspective in mind, nutrition plays a vital role in creating community relationships, bonds, experiences, and opportunities to support one another on our healthful journeys. Additionally, power is found in food in terms of nutrition. So eating certain food will provide those nutritions that your body is seeking in order for you to perform at a healthy state. So food is power in the sense that food is wealth in a sense, right? So, you know, you can have a lot of money, but if you don't have health, it adds a different layer of challenges for you and your loved ones. So my point is that if you can prevent these things by taking the route of viewing nutrition as a preventable measure to health and wellness, then I'm confident that you all have the power to lead a healthy lifestyle and enjoy a high quality of life that many people these days are very much lacking. As an urban planner, discovering the power of nutrition and the importance of a healthy food landscape in communities has been very pivotal to my understanding of what is essential when it comes to building healthy environments. And the main goal of studying urban planning and planning essentially is to plan for a community where people can thrive and can access everything that is essential to them to thrive and live a healthful life. So we oftentimes measure this in quality of life. And I think that if we introduce the power of nutrition to community members, we can work from the ground up to create a healthy community. a great example of something that is currently out there is Canada's food guideline, which pretty much does promote a plate that looks like the one that I was explaining to you all, that pretty much encourages plant foods so that you can obtain optimal nutrition. And they actually remove the dairy guideline in their overall concept. And so this is very different when it comes to the US, because in the US, dairy is a very big industry, and we do find it in a lot of public institutions, like schools. So schools promote dairy on a policy level by mandating that schools serve 2 types of dairy beverage. And this can be very problematic because dairy has been linked to having a lot of saturated fat. It has a lot of addictive properties, and additionally, obtaining dairy as a food does use a lot of resources, which can be utilized in other ways that are more efficient and effective. So given that we are trying to plan this ideal community where people are healthy and can thrive, it is very important to plan in a way that does fit within the planetary boundaries that we face here on Earth. I do challenge you all to look into trying new foods and sharing recipes and time with your family and loved ones, making food that you can all enjoy and that is healthy to you all. So you have to make sure that there's a lot of variety and colors in your foods. You have to stay on track with healthy snacking and try to avoid foods that are very processed and that do not provide you with nutritional value. And so essentially what they're providing you with is extra salt, extra sugar, and extra calories that are empty calories. So you're not benefiting from them in any way. So if we reshape our perception of food and view food in a fun manner, look into your fridge and view the opportunity in having all these options to simply add, for example, quinoa to a salad, so you can incorporate those fruits and vegetables in addition to a whole grain. As simply as tossing it in a bowl and trying something that maybe is out of your comfort zone. Or if you really like brown rice, you can stick to brown rice. But the main thing here is that you stay away from refined grains like white rice and white bread, because you're not gaining any essential nutrients. And one of the main issues with eating food that doesn't provide you with any essential nutrients that you need to experience well-being and longevity goes against our definition of what nutrition is. So by reshaping our understanding of nutrition and elevating its importance in our everyday performances, we can better understand how we can adapt to our physical environment in a way that promotes health and well-being. So, for example, if your environment near your job has a lot of fast food restaurants, and you tend to go to those places just because they're close to your job, maybe you can work on having a goal to attempt to make the majority of the meals that you bring to work. This is great because you can save a lot of money in the process. The thing with whole grains and fruits and vegetables is that you can a lot of times buy in bulk. And in this way, you can also reduce your waste, which is another benefit of adapting this type of lifestyle. I really enjoyed this talk, and I am very happy to share these bits and pieces of information with you all and give you a different interpretation of nutrition and food and the role that it plays in your life. I know that I gave you a lot to think about in terms of your environment and how it influences your health and well-being. And I hope that you all will take the time to dig deeper into the concepts that I brought up and really challenge yourselves to get outside of your comfort zone and try things in regards to food that are going to provide you with nutrition and are going to have a healthy impact on your life in the long term. I'm really honored to have had this opportunity to talk to you all, and I just want to say that this process of learning is ever changing, and in a world that is also constantly changing, I think that it's really important for us as change agents in our society to go out there and lead by example and show our friends, family, and communities how they too can experience a high quality of life by looking at their environment and adapting as far as their choices go with lifestyle choices. So my name is Miranda Rugova. It's truly been an honor to be sharing this time with you all, and I thank you very much for taking the time to listen. All right, take care and be safe. Goodbye.